Hey folks, it is Thursday, February 18th, and this is your daily forecast. So we're launching into our workflow here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to watch some animated representations of disability. So there are 5 films. They're short, and I just want you to watch 3 of them. I think it's important to watch more than one because that kind of helps you understand like a larger contemporary pattern when it comes to how disability gets represented. All right, so there are 5 to choose from. Super cute. Some of them, as can imagine, are how do I put this? Some of them are super cute. I think all of them have cute elements, but keep in mind that like I'm not like endorsing any of these representations, and that's kind of like the point, right? Is that with all pop culture, we can enjoy something and also critique it, right? And it's really important, just as like adult human beings in the world, to be able to be enthusiastic about something, but then also be like, yeah, you know what, like here are some problems with that, and here's how this could potentially be improved uh, in the future, right? Because the idea is that if we can't learn how to enjoy things and then talk about them in ways that acknowledge what might be problematic with it, then stories never change. Make sense? Okay, cool. So that's what we're going to do in task 1. In task 2, you are going to make some connections between the videos and the Nassatir and Horn article that you read for homework. I think it's actually a good idea to kind of like while you're watching the videos, kind of like have like a pen in hand. Like I actually have like a series of like tiny little Post-its that I wrote stuff down on when I was watching the films. So yeah, so just kind of you might want to potentially like read the questions in task 2 and then watch the films if you want, and then just sort of like take some notes. So the next thing I want you to do is just to head over to Slack and check out my sample analysis. I did an analysis on mushroom and the forest of the world. So just again, as an example, because I'm trying to offer you models of what I'd like to see in your writing, because I think I think always having examples of what I'm trying to get you to aim for is always really helpful, because how do I ask you to build something without blueprints, right? So go ahead and read that again. Really kind of notice the moves that I'm making, and that what I'm asking you to do is not summarize what happened, because we already watched the films, right? That's not the point of this. It's analysis. So there's that. Okay. So then you're going to write down your thoughts. Usually that's going to be like into a paragraph or 2. And I would say just like don't go over 2 paragraphs, right? Some people are going to need to get theirs out in 2 paragraphs. When I first did my draft of the mushroom and the forest of the world, I think it was like 2 paragraphs, and then I purposely, because I knew I was using it as a model, tried to make it more succinct. So there's that. So yeah, and then after you've written it, again, I always recommend kind of like writing it in a Google Doc and then just pasting that into Slack. So paste it into Slack on Pop Research Channel 2, and then please read and again meaningfully engage with at least 2 of your peers' posts. The reason why I wanted you to watch more than one film is because let's just say that you wrote about, you know, I don't know, float, but another person wrote about the present, or mushroom takes over, or mushroom and the force of the universe, or whatever the heck it's called. So the idea is that we've all read the Nassatir and Horn piece, right? And then we've watched at least 3 of them, right? At least 3 of the films. It's cool if you want to watch all of them, but that way, when your peers are doing that analyzing, you can meaningfully engage because you've watched the thing, and then you can be like, yeah, I see what you're saying here. Did you notice this other example in the film that also kind of like helps you, that also relates to what you're talking about? And again, I want to emphasize that the reason why you're doing this is not only to like practice scholarly writing, but I do want to point out that like in the last unit of this class, you're actually going to be taking the articles that you read in Unit 2, or at least some of them, and you're going to choose one of the films that we watched in Unit 2, and you're going to actually like write like an extended analysis of that film. So part of this work here is not only like practicing learning how to look at things analytically and connect academic articles to it, but in engaging with each other seriously through the Slack and like really paying attention to what your peers' ideas are. And in watching the films too, you can kind of like give them ideas that they might end up using in their draft of their paper, right? So in a way too, you're also throughout Unit 2, you're gonna have like all these little mini free writes that you might decide to pull from to write a paper. And you have whole conversations with your peers who their ideas might also help you be like, oh, dang, I didn't even see that, right? And so that's really the point here. And that's why when I'm saying meaningfully engage, keep in mind this isn't like empty interaction, right? You could be like helping your peers develop papers for the very end of the unit, okay? So don't like phone that in. And then for homework, I would like you to read Gilliam and Wooden's Post-Princess Models of Gender, The New Man in Disney Pixar. Gilliam and Wooden's piece is, I don't want to say it's convoluted because it's not, and I do highlight the thesis in there. It's actually a really short piece. But basically what they're saying is that in general, while there's so much attention that's like devoted to princesses and how they're represented, that we don't often like look at how pop culture representations of masculinity have been pretty static for a really long time. And like they might not be as how do I put this? They might not be as stereotypical, but they're still relying on like archetypes of masculinity that are like not always accurate, or they're just like rigid, because there are like plenty of ways to like be masculine in the world, right? And so Gilliam and Wooden are like, yeah, what's up with that? Like, why, like, let's like talk about how Disney is representing like masculinity. And their argument is that they're actually noticing a shift from kind of like the like burly swole dude, like Gaston and Beauty and the Beast, right? To like more fluid representations of masculinity. And they talk about like Toy Story and Cars, but you can also see this in like contemporary films like How to Train Your Dragon, or Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, right? Or even in Wreck-It Ralph. So I guess my point is they're making an argument about how Disney's actually representing masculinity differently and how that's potentially a really good thing, right? So that we're not just relying on writing the same alpha male over and over again, but like kind of creating this beta male character who basically is like, hey, I'm a fully realized character. I'm happy leading or following, right? That I can like be vulnerable and have relationships with people around me and learn things, and that's good, right? So that's kind of their argument. And I just wanted to give you some water wings for that because I think knowing that that's their central argument will end up being really helpful. Okay, so you know we're doing a class today and you know what is for homework. So let's just have a lovely day today. All right.